Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan Schrantz, and today I have a particularly devious tactical challenge. This is definitely the hardest one to date, so let's go ahead, take a look, and see if you can solve it. In this position, it's white to move. I'll pause for about 5 to 10 seconds, but my suspicion is it might take you a little bit longer, so go ahead and pause your video if you need a little bit more time. So what we have here is a very complicated position. Our rook on g1 is hanging, the knight on b4 is almost trapped. We can almost play the move a3, but obviously the c2 pawn is attacked twice. So what are we going to do? Well, I hope you were able to come up with the first move. This is the first brilliancy, so congrats if you already found move number 1. White can play the brilliant move, bishop to c4, which just has the appearance that you're just giving away a piece, right? Can't we just take it? Well, we should see at this moment that it's not just hanging. If you take the bishop, not only do you lose your rook, but also you blunder mate. So in this position, it's obvious that we can't take the bishop. But what is white's threat? Well, immediately he's planning on taking on e6, removing the defender of c8. So you might try, for example, a complicated move such as rook takes c2, and black has some fake threats here that shouldn't really work. For example, now if we take on e6, you might be thinking about taking on b2, but this just shouldn't work tactically. White can take, and after queen f2, you move to b3, and if queen c2, the king proudly goes to c4, and black has no more threats, and he's down a lot of material. So going back, instead, in this position, we'll play a sterner defense for black, the move rook to d8. Okay, now white can take on e6, and black should consider either playing fe or rook takes d1. For example, let's look at rook takes first. After this, you can take back either way, but the strongest way to take back is knight d1, and the rook is not hanging in this variation, because if you play rook g1, you blunder a checkmate. And hopefully here you can see this common checkmating pattern. So returning, you don't take the rook. Instead, you can play queen to d4. And the best move now for white is knight to b3. And when the queen retreats, you save your bishop. So in this variation here, white is up a piece. So we can try a little bit harder as black. Okay, returning now to this position, let's take on e6. However, this too is insufficient, and once again, you may want to pause your video because the strongest move here is again slightly surprising. The strongest move in this position is a3, and you might be thinking, well, I just take on c2, and you might, so you can either take on c2 or you can take on d1. So first let's take on d1, the strongest move. Now if you take back with a knight, the rook on g1 is hanging, so you take back with the rook, and after knight c2, queen d7, and if king f8, rook f1. Okay, and your best bet is to play rook f2, but after knight d1, rook f1, knight e3. This is the best that black can possibly hope to achieve out of this position, and this should be a technically winning position for white. So we'll return one more time, and this time in this position, we'll play knight takes c2, which will be very similar. We can take on c6 first, and after king f7, rook g to f1. Again, you sort of have to shield with the rook, but then we can take on d8 and play, hopefully you see this move, knight to d1, a very powerful retreat. And again, the best you can hope for is rook takes f1, knight takes e3, knight takes e3, and once again, white has emerged with a winning position. Thank you for watching another tactical challenge. A big congrats to everyone that was able to get it right. I know it was very, very tricky, but hopefully some of you got it out there. And if you want to see more great chess content just like this, go ahead, hit like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week for another tactical challenge.